So we're out hiking another section of the Tahoe Rim Trail. This time we're going from Echo Summit to Kingsbury South. It's about 39 miles total. And in a testament to how quickly things can change. You know, this trip was planned for last weekend. And for whatever reason, I didn't end up going. In the planning phase for last weekend, I was looking at the Far Out app and some other things to map out my water sources and campsites and things like that. Did that same thing again for this weekend, and finding that a lot of the creeks that were flowing last weekend are dry this weekend. So I have to kind of adapt my plan around water sources. It's really important to plan and prepare for every trip. Know where your water sources are, know where you're camping. But it's equally important to be ready to adapt and change those plans, because nature doesn't care what you planned for. Nature just does its own thing. So I've only ever walked this section of trail going the other direction. And to say that it's a completely different trail this way would not be an exaggeration. We started at around 7,400 feet this morning, and we're about 3 miles in. We are now at 8,500 feet, and we're still climbing. So this has been up, right out of the gate. Heck of a way to start the morning. So this hike Kiki and I are on today, we'll have 20 miles today, give or take, depending on where we find reliable water, and then 20 more miles tomorrow until we get to the end. And that's how I like to hike. I like big mileage days. I don't really like spending a ton of time at camp. You know, I want to be in motion. I want to keep my feet on the trail. And earlier this week, I posed that question on my community tab here on the YouTube page. You know, what's your why? Why do you hike? And I got such a varied array of answers. It was super cool. You know, some people want to hike very short mileage, carry a lot of luxury items, and just really thoroughly enjoy their time at camp. Some people are peak baggers. They want to conquer every summit that they see. Some people are thru hikers or fast packers. Everybody has a different motivation and a different reason. And the great thing is, there's no wrong way to do this. You know, as long as you're respecting the environment that you're in, you're respecting the wildlife around you, you're respecting the other hikers around you, there's no wrong answer. You just get out and enjoy these beautiful spaces in the way that makes the most sense to you and in a way that gives you the best possible experience. And I think that's really wonderful, and I'm really glad I got so many different answers to that question. The original plan for this weekend was I was going to drive up Friday night and then walk just until I found water, set up camp, wake up bright and early today, which is Saturday, and start hiking. But I was really tired after work on Friday, and I just couldn't get motivated to get my stuff together and get on the road, drive an hour and a half, and then walk for another hour and a half to 2 hours. You know, we're creeping into fall, so the sun's setting a little earlier, but it's worked out so far. I hit the trailhead at about 9:30, so a little bit of a late start, but doing pretty good on time, doing pretty good on mileage. It's beautiful out here. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now. For most of the day, we've been walking along a section of trail that is both Pacific Crest Trail and Tahoe Rim Trail. We've just turned off and we're only on the Tahoe Rim Trail now. The Pacific Crest Trail would continue south the direction we were walking, and now we are headed east towards Round Lake. Walking past Round Lake just now brought back a memory from my 2019 thru hike attempt. I had camped at Round Lake unexpectedly. My plan for that night had been to camp at the Luther Pass campground, very, very close to where we'll be camping tonight. It's a nice little campground. It's got some pit toilets and water, things like that. And it's always kind of a nice spot to stay when you're thru hiking, because you go to the bathroom indoors and stuff like that, and anybody who's done a thru hike knows what a treat that can be. But when I got there, all the campsites were occupied, and that has happened to me before on this section of trail. And I've always been able to talk to a camper, talk to somebody, and just borrow like a little corner of their campsite for the night. And on this trip, everybody said no. I asked every single person in every single campsite, and I got denied. So I walked the extra 3 or 4 miles to Round Lake. And by the time I got there, it was pitch black. Sun had long gone down. I was just exhausted. I remember struggling to get my tent up, struggling to eat my evening meal. And in a weird way, that's kind of where that trip started to go sideways, because my attitude changed and I wasn't really having fun anymore. And then just a few days later, I got caught in an unexpected snowstorm that lasted for 4 days, and I ended up bailing out and going home. But it's nice to be back here. It's nice to be back on this section of trail in a good mood, having a good time. Well, we found home for the night. It's not my favorite campsite I've ever had. We have a lot of highway noise, but it is the last water source for about 10 miles. So we will stay here for the night, have access to water, get up early in the morning, and crush 10 miles, carrying probably 4 liters of water. Kiki drinks a lot. Well, we're up and moving. Despite the campsite last night not being perfect, slept really well, super comfortable. So all's well that ends well. And second morning in a row, we're just going uphill right out of the gate. I don't like up that much. It's nearly impossible to hike anywhere in the West now and not walk through at least one burn scar. Thankful that at least so far, this fire season hasn't been as bad as last year. I know Oregon, Pacific Northwest areas having quite a few. There's some PCT closures, but definitely nowhere near the amount we saw last year. So the Far Out app was wrong. There is water just about a mile past where we camped, and there's a lovely little campsite. Happens every time. Happens every time. I camp just sort of out of desperation, and then 2 miles later, I find a spot that would have been perfect. Well, now I know for next time. Kiki's getting pretty tired. She's, dipping off trail and finding places to lay down in the shade. We're not moving very fast. It's about 11 and we've only gone 6 miles. So I don't think we're gonna make it to Kingsbury South. I think a 40-mile trip with the dog was ambitious, and I'm gonna have to change my plan here. We'll probably dip out at Armstrong Pass, which is about another 5 miles. But even if we cut it short, it's been a really nice weekend. I do enjoy hiking with my dog.